Okay, so this is the anime review nobody really asked for, but I didn't really see it when I was looking for it on YouTube, so I figured, hey, if it's not there, make it. So that's what I'm doing, I'm making it, okay? And I'm also trying to vent and process what I just watched, in a way, okay? So, bear with me, okay? So, I just finished rewatching one of my first animes, the Earl and Fairy. So I watched it on Amazon Prime and it was really good. I used to think it was really good, is what I should really say. And now that I've rewatched it again, I can see that, yeah, it's not as amazing as I remembered it to be. So the story is set in the Victorian era. It's set around in the UK. It follows the protagonist, Lydia Carlton. She's the fairy doctor. She's kind of captured / recruited by this really handsome man, tall, blonde hair, mauve eyes, who's claiming to be the legendary blue Knight Earl. He's saying he is, but he has nothing to prove that he is. Also, there's some American, John, who's been murdering 100 people, who's on the loose. And everyone's like, are you John? Or are you the real Earl Blue Knight? Like, who are you? So his real name is Edgar, and I guess at one point he did go by John. And then we find out the person who killed all those people was actually his like cool butler, Raven. I really liked Raven. Like, rewatching this, I feel like some of the characters I overlooked when I first watched it when I was a child. When I was a child, I felt like a child. I reasoned as a child. Now I am a woman. And Raven is actually a very interesting character, like, right? And he has this djinn that's like in him and sometimes causes him to just kill. So he's like a killer. In the beginning, like, he killed like a whole lot of people, and then Edgar was the one to finally like see him as more than a weapon for killing and like mass destruction, and he gave him like, I don't know, he just started to like let him know like you have a choice, and he just like, yeah, but then he chooses to follow him, and he chooses to do whatever Edgar says at all costs. I was like, it's not a choice. Yeah, that's the thing I noticed about this. There's a lot of very like gray characters, because even the Earl, Edgar, is a very gray character. I'm like, is his motivation to become the Earl to seek revenge? Because I'm like, so his main motive of seeking all of this is to get revenge? And I get it, maybe that is considered noble to a degree. It goes from just the sole purpose of getting revenge to being able to help the fairy kingdom to understand them. Even though he can't necessarily see them, he knows that they exist, and he recognizes now that he has a responsibility to save them. I'm skipping a lot. But again, I'm venting. I can do whatever I want when I'm venting. You can't do whatever you want when you're venting. I liked the tension, like the romance that was between the two characters, Lydia and the Earl. It's cute. I feel like there's a lot of banter back and forth, conversations. Even like for me, as I was watching it, I was like, does he really like her? Or is he just flirting with her? Is he just messing with her? Because I get it. And then he's like, oh, I don't know what it'll take to show you that I love you. Like, I really do. Like, he is so like good at talking to people, especially women. So I'm like, how is this not the situation? How is this not that same thing that's taking place? How do we know you're like he's being genuine and he truly really like cares for her? Anyway, very interesting nonetheless. She's the protagonist, Lydia. She's a fairy doctor. Her only living relative right now is her father. It seems like her mother passed away, but her mother used to be a fairy doctor. Then we have Edgar. Edgar, his whole family was killed. He almost lost his life. Everyone thought he was also killed in that like massacre that took place, but he was able to escape. But he ended up becoming a slave, and he lived a very rough life. I think in America, USA, America. Anyway, he grew up there. As a slave in the 1800s, like, woo. Wow, history PTSD. And he was able to like run away and to leave and to escape, and then he's able to, I don't know how he was able to amass all the wealth that he was amassing. I don't know if he just became a very good con artist, like he was just like, yeah, I'm this Earl, and then he ends up getting all these things because he's a smooth talker. Even when he's like talking to the prince's fairy doctor, and it's like, dude, you're gonna die, like he's somehow able to like just like keep the banter going back and forth and not die. Even when he convinces the mermaid queen, like he convinces her, yeah, I'm the guy, and she's like, I know you're not the guy. Everyone knows he's not the guy. All the fairy people know. They're like, we don't sense the power of the Earl, like the Blue Knight in you. You're not the guy. And he's somehow able to convince him. I'm like, he's one of those guys that can talk himself out of any situation. That's this Edgar, that's him. He's that guy. He's got a good pillow talk voice, no cap. And then also he says a lot of sweet nothings. So he's able to just like, I don't know, he's pretty good with the ladies. He is. Even those times I was like, this guy's bad news. Don't be attracted to him. Yeah, and other characters that I really loved, I still loved. I remember when I first watched the series, I loved Kelpie. I thought Kelpie was so cute. Man, it's so fine. When I say that, man, except now rewatching it a little bit older, I picked up on some things I totally missed as a child. Like, he eats people except the liver. He eats everything but the liver. What? You're a horse? So Kelpie, right? I loved Kelpie. I loved him as a kid, still love him now. He's like, he knows what he wants, and when he knows what he wants, he goes for it. The thing is, I don't know, I mean, at first I wasn't sure if he just wanted Lydia because she's like a fairy doctor and he always wants like, just like, I don't know, a fairy doctor by his side or something. But then there's like another part where I'm like, this guy's actually like serious. Like he actually really wants to marry her. Like I don't think it's just because she's a fairy doctor. Even if she wasn't a fairy doctor, I feel like he'd still be totally into her. And yeah, I still love him. He's one of those guys. He goes after his woman and he knows what he wants. And I'm like, ooh. But he needs to calm down a little. There were times that he was a bit off. Anyway, and then another character that I really loved, what's his name? Paul. I love Paul. Oh my gosh. Like, okay, like real people and real men. The guys I would easily go after or want or like, the people I would crush on hard is for sure Kelpie, my man. So he's got that spice, he's got that, you know what I mean? And then we have Paul. I love Paul. He's just so cute and so soft and so gentle. So yeah, that's what perfect man would be. He'd be a fusion of Paul and Kelpie. Fused. So cute. He's like an artist. And it looks like at first he was working with like the red or the scarlet moon people. They're trying to kill Edgar because they were like, he's a fake. You know what? They're not wrong. He is a fake. He is committed to becoming the Blue Knight. So yeah, I guess they were just like, well, he's got the sword. I guess we're stuck with him, so I guess we'll work with it. I guess I was like, they just accepted that kind of quickly. I was like, wait, why did they accept that? Why did they just accept that? And so Paul, he's like also like, he was the first hired by them because they were like, you know, Prince killed your family and we gotta find the Blue Knight, you want to get revenge, and this imposter's out here saying he's a Blue Knight, we know he's the Blue Knight. So Paul at first, like when he first meets Edgar, he tries to kill him, tries to poison him. My boy Paul, he's so soft. I was like, oh, protect him. That's cinnamon. Let's protect him. Yeah. Edgar gets the sword of the Blue Knight from the merfolk, and he gets it specifically from the Mermaid Queen. And this is the part that kind of confused me. So he's like, I don't have the star you're looking for, but I got one on my tongue. And I was like, the branding, the slave branding on your tongue, is that gonna work? Lo and behold, the cross shows up on the sword, and I'm like, I guess that worked. And I'm like, this guy is such a smooth talker. Like, I swear to goodness, how did he do this? And then like, so I thought the story at first was going to be about him getting the sword, right? Becoming the Earl, trying to convince everyone that he's the guy to get the sword, to become the Earl. No, he gets it actually pretty quickly. I think it was like episode 4 or like 5 or something. And I'm like, he's already the Earl. I'm like, yeah. And the thing is, like, all the fairy people can tell. He can't see them. He can't see them. He can hear them. He can't see them. He has no magical ability whatsoever. He's literally driven by this like desire to become the Blue Knight at all costs. And at first I was like, oh, is it to get revenge on the prince? And then it slowly becomes him wanting and desiring to save and protect the people, the fairy people. He desires to truly save and protect the fairy people. Oh my god. It was giving me otome game, like romance games vibes. I'm probably not saying that right. Please don't at me. And it was just giving that same vibe. I'm like, oh, all these wonderful men to choose from. Who will I choose?